run the jungle, and if you don't know me, I'm an angry animal, and you know that I'm hungry. We got zebras, we got gorillas, and if you try to sell, then it's Thriller in Manila.
Hey, hello. It's been a while. So just getting back into the swing of things here with everything that is going on. You know, it's a weird market right now. So we don't know which way it's going, up and down or left or right. Who knows? But that's the nature of crypto as we see it. I just wanted to kind of check in really and say hello to everybody. It's been quiet on this side, but for good reason. We've been, you know, building and illustrating more pieces to the story and the wider narrative and stuff. And we've got a fair bit done, but we've still got a long way to go. And you know, getting ourselves primed, ready for a revised date on launch. And you know, there's obviously sentiment and frustration around the timings and the duration that these things take. So I wanted to address some of that, but also just to sort of let everybody know that, you know, this is me. It's me on my Todd here. I always turn up. I always do these kind of updates. You know, I ain't going anywhere. And I just wanted to reiterate that there is such a story and a kind of a passionate piece around Hangry now that we've created some serious IP, and we're being patient. That's the crux of it. We're biding our time and we're being patient, because when we have all of those pieces in place, when we have some kind of CGI mocap renders that are rocking, that we're comfortable with, and that can be released on socials, then we'll think the timing is right for that. We bought too early, as we all know. You know, if we haven't got every little nuance and piece in place that we feel that we need to have in place, then we're not going to be prepared, and it's not going to be a success. So we're just seriously putting all the pieces in place, all the bricks and mortar ready to roll, and it's going to be better for it. So yeah, today I've been meeting with Terry, the script writer, and we had some notes on the Susanna script, and we have a really cool story for Marv all worked out, ready to rock. So yeah, Marv's the kind of wild one, I guess, of the group, and brings that comic relief, that comedic relief to the project. And his story and his evolution is going to be really, really interesting and quite fun. He's a Scottish tourist who's come to the zoo as a tourist, and you know, all the chaos and revelations and yeah, pieces that unfold, we will tell in that story. I also met with Jason Cardy and Kat Nicholson, who are comic artists and creators. So they're illustrators with accolades in their own rights. Just so happens they're 15 miles away from where I live, and it was perfect opportunity to say hello and meet them and chat through all of the pieces about the project and get them excited, because I want people around us, and I want people on board who believe in what we have as a story and as a set of characters and everything. So yeah, we had a good session. I'm talking about, you know, where Jason and Kat's experience comes from. So inkers, pencilers, colorists for the likes of Transformers, Turtles, Mortal Kombat miniatures, you know, card games alike. So there's lots of experience there that we want to leverage and, you know, bring into the fold within the Hangry lore and the comic narrative. So that's next steps. So they have Otis's script. So they have the first script, and they're going to do a pass, like a treatment, a pass of those comic pages, and we'll see where that goes. Yeah. One sec. Let me pause this. Can I pause it? Yeah, so sorry, just have to power up my laptop, keep it charged while I talk. So excuse the pause or jump. Yeah, so great conversation with Kat and Jason around getting the comic, and we discussed sort of traditional comics. So that everybody knows, traditional comics is usually a 22 page comic with covers and whatnot, making up the 28. So it's always in fours. So you have one side, two sides, and then the reverse of each side. So you have 4 sides of a page per comic. And the traditional comic is about 22 pages. But because we're thinking that this will be a web comic, then we're not worried about the times 4 for every story that we write. We will, and the reason being that it's going to be bedded in digital because we want to inject the treasure hunts, we want to inject the special pieces of script that will allow people to unlock mini games, mini puzzles, be able to surprise and earn some tokens within that experience, but also with the mindset that we will eventually have them as physical printed comics for people to redeem as well. So you have to think about the ultimate piece there, where when you draw a traditional comic, you draw the lines, and if there's a character but what behind one character, you don't draw the rest of this character. But because we're thinking of it as a web comic, you need each of these separate layers. So I need the entire character there. We need the entire character there, so that when it comes to what they call a motion comic, that you could see all of the pieces of the other characters when you do that. So we've got a lot to think about there, but they're going to do a first draft, and they're going to suggest some ideas about how we can lay out the story, and we'll have a serious understanding about how fleshed out that looks. There's 4 out of those 5 are already written. I'm just going to grab those now so you can see folders where I've stored them. All PDFs, all ready to discuss with the whole community, really, what this looks like. Yeah, I got the wrong one all the time. Hangry patterns, hangry animals, scripts. Yeah. So if I share my screen, we've got this on there. So yeah, we can see we've got Otis, Sabrina, Brylan, Susanna. These four scripts are super cool. So this was written in May, and you can see there's how many pages you got. This is 23 pages, right? So this is quite a long comic to be able to flesh out. Now, 23 pages of copy may turn out to be actually, more like 48 pages of work. So the first comic may actually be quite elaborate, and that's cool. That's that's fine for us because it expands on the story. Non-fungible heroes, nfheroes.io. I purchased a couple of the NFTs, and they have the comic. Let's see if I can. I don't know if I shared this before, so I'll share my screen. This comic is probably 48-page comic. Am I sharing? Yes, I am. Cool. So this is the Night Ape. This is the non-fungible heroes comic, the Night Ape. So I can go full screen. You can see the quality on this thing is lush, it's stunning. But this is how we think about it. So 48-pager, right? So this is a pretty extensive comic. Love the lighting work and everything involved in what they do. And there's some serious inspiration in non-fungible heroes in the way they've set up their lore and their city and all of the characters that revolve around it. This one right here, I don't know if my mouse is moving for you, but this one right here is bang on Biker Mice from Mars, which was a early to mid 90s comic where there was three like motorbike gangs, sort of biker mice. That's fully inspired by that. There's another kind of turtle spin-off. Battle Toads was another turtle spin-off, and Biker Mice from Mars was another one of them as well. So loads of stuff in here, but totally in love with the style and the way they're telling stories. And this is the kind of level that we will look to aspire and exceed. I mean, these are Marvel, DC, Disney artists in their own right. So kudos to them. They do have this little halftone pattern going on in there as well, which is cool. This is funny to see. You know, haven't lifted anything from that, from what I originally illustrated and drew, but it's funny to see that they have a similar kind of thing going on, which is cool. So yeah, comics coming along, scripts. The fifth one will probably be with us in 2 weeks, which means we have a serious backlog of stuff to work with on that. In terms of the NFT collection itself, we are pretty much done with all of the collection. It's all down to timing on a launch now. It's all down to timing with the markets being where they are. We're just looking for that little bit of price action to increase so that we can start putting some serious effort into campaign and promotion out there. As that collection stands, that will be two things we're thinking of. That is a phased rollout or an entire rollout. If we do a phased rollout and we sell them in waves, then obviously all the OGs, any sort of awarded NFTs will be going out immediately within those waves of activity. And then we will kind of unleash the gates for the remainder of it. But in order for us to prepare and get ready for that launch and that promotion, the mocap suits. So we have, out of our own pocket, we're purchasing two mocap suits, one for Coinburn in the US and one for myself in the UK, to be able to put some promotional animation sequences together to go out on social channels. Now, I've got access to a whole studio, motion capture studio here in the UK, in Wales, and I will be visiting that studio in the next 2 weeks to start putting some sequences together for that. We have, obviously, you've seen, some of you may not have seen on socials, we have the hippo already done, lip synced up and working. We have the zebra, all rigged. We just have to finish the final mouth shapes on the character. And then we have the moose, all rigged mouth shapes, blend shapes, as we call them, ready to rock. So with the timings to which they are, we will probably end up having hippo and the moose as characters that we can use to start having fun and playing to hype up the project. So yeah, that's that. You know, so everybody is aware that we had a celebrity who was seemingly all guns a-blazing, all ready to rock and all ready to go. Two things have happened since then. That celebrity has sort of quietened down and not lost interest, but just hasn't responded to any of our communications. So with that in mind, we're sort of going to bow out from that person's involvement for the time being. They may come on a wave too, who knows? But from our perspective, there's just a lack of communication and a lack of clarity from where they want to contribute and where they want to get involved. And I'm getting tired and impatient of the to and fro and the bounce back of nothing. So that's where we stand, and I'd rather just kind of do this organically without them, rather than false hype and end up with some negativity, more negativity than, you know, seeing some little murmurs and trickles that, you know, around the time frame and the amount of time this is taking, which, you know, I totally understand, and I can't see it any other way. everything that we've done so far has been building. You know, I'm still here. What's this now? Coming up to like 8, 9, 10 months maybe since we started engaging in this project. Still here. You know, I ain't going nowhere. So this is now a passion project. It was initially, but now more than ever, this is a passion project, which means that, you know, I'm emotionally charged to make this thing a success. And all of my IP, all of my intellectual property around characters has gone into this thing. So we'll be gifting that to the rest of the holders and the rest of the community. You know, every day sketching, every day illustrating ideas and new factions and new opportunities for the world building that we're doing. It's not just a freaking NFT project. This is bigger than that. And hence I'm just doing the right thing and building it for success, not building it for a flip. So that's where we're at with that. We obviously, when it comes to launch, we're going to have some really cool elements. Like we have a 5-6 track rap album that hasn't even touched the surface in terms of exposure, you know. That will be airdropped to all holders when it comes to, you know, a couple of days after mint time for the OGs. So yeah, utility, you want utility. That's the starting point. I've been joining Twitter Spaces with Pi Protocol quite recently, and fun space actually, because Pi is trying to support creators, trying to support artists and creators wherever they can. And there's a really cool little mix of people where some have already minted, some are ready to launch, some are just discussing where it's gonna go next, and you know, some established nice projects, great art, really nice creative approaches to projects and utilities. And it just goes to show that there's a serious mix of ideas out there. How you can take a JPEG, take a piece of art, what are you doing behind the scenes that is going to incentivize holders to stick around, to want to play in this space and enjoy the artwork, enjoy the story, enjoy the creative, as much as what the financial gains are for holding. So yeah, Pi Protocol, massive fan of the project and what it does. They're on ETH now, so they have an ETH NFT marketplace where you can stake your NFT, you can put your NFTs into treasure hunts and stuff. I think it's cool. I've always been an advocate for it because originally I did the explainer video for Pi Protocol, trying to, you know, get the word out there, and that was one of the animation 3D motion graphics projects that I've done for Gordon and the team. So it's all about collaboration, and the more of those conversations we're having, the more of those opportunities that come our way, we're going to seriously consider, like we have already with the likes of Swappable, Block Doulas. You know, they're in a phase of transition now where they're moving to its different chain, and you know, it's going to benefit us in the long run. So yeah, I think it's cool. The Swappable guys, you know, they're still here, and Epic Prime are a bit quiet, but they're a licensing thing. So what will happen is once the NFTs are launched and once the NFTs are minted, the licensing aspect will come into it so that they can provide us with some conversations and leeways into some bigger projects. So yeah, all to play for. But ultimately, we're still here. Hangry is still as hangry as ever. I've got a white background today because I'm downstairs. I hope the audio is not too echoey. I'll check it before I submit it. But yeah, I just wanted to say hi. Still around, still alive. Didn't shave my beard, manifesto, so sorry about that, mate. I just want to be feral for a couple of days, see how it goes, and demonstrate how grey this thing's going, as it's been almost a year. So yeah, you get to enjoy it for a little bit more time. Anyway, that's me. we are still as hangry as ever, and I'm still creating new things behind the scenes every day that will influence the direction and the story and everything that we put on the table. So I hope you stick around. I hope you enjoy, and any newcomers as well. Yeah, great to see you, and thank you for the support. Join the rest of the community, and yeah, share the love. Thank you.
I run the jungle, and if you don't know me, I'm an angry animal, and you know that I'm hungry. We got zebras, we got gorillas, and if you try to sell